So 1 week on, and here I am doing my little pickup report from a Cosmic Toys visit. And this chap I found lurking in a dark, appropriately enough, corner of the store. And it is a dark crystal figure, but it's from the Netflix series Age of Resistance rather than the original film. But he is nevertheless a Skeksis. He is the Hunter. Now, I've only watched about one episode of it, and it was quite interesting, but I think I was watching it on a train, and then I had a sort of full work day, and then I kind of forgot about it again, but I should probably go back to it. But what I quite enjoy about this figure is that they've actually given him the extra set of arms at the back there, which I imagine was a bit of a nightmare to sort of sculpt, and I'm kind of hesitant to get him out of the packet. Because I feel like if anything sort of knocked him off a shelf, then he'd lose his extra set of arms. But I think that you can see there the features on the head are terrific. I mean, there is no mistaking that for anything else other than what it is. But I just really, it just caught my eye when I saw it, and then I found out it was quite reasonably priced as well, because obviously this is new rather than being vintage as such, or retro if you like. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to pull the trigger on that one. They also had Aughra. So I was kind of thinking about Aughra as well. And then of course they had Gelflings, but it wasn't the original Gelflings. Even though that guy there, Rian, I don't know, looks very much like the original Gelfling. And there's Deet as well there, who looks like the other Gelfling. So there's definitely, sort of nods at the head going back to the original film there and the way that they did it, which is clever of them. And the other interesting thing about this is probably the first Funko-related thing I have ever owned. Because I don't go in for the Funko Pop stuff at all. But that is a really, really clever mould, I think. So let's move on to the next. So this was the other thing that I picked up, which, again, I didn't go in to grab, but Gareth had very kindly given me some trading pennies for some things I had actually let go of for once. You see, yeah, it can happen. And so I noticed this lurking at the bottom of his little sort of alien section, and I do have quite a large affinity for the Aliens series, because having watched the original films, one of my first, say modern, it was the 90s, for me it was modern at the time, American comic pickups was the Aliens versus Predator first series in single issues, and I found it in a comic book store in York. I don't think it exists anymore, sadly. I think Travelling Man is still in New York, but this one doesn't exist anymore. But off the back of that, I was exposed to the Predator/Aliens expanded universe world. And that was what really sort of got me into collecting more Aliens comics that were sort of, pure Aliens comics. But of course, part and parcel of that lore is the Power Loader. And it occurred to me recently that I haven't actually got many examples of Aliens action figures and similar, and part of the reason for that is that I don't like the ones that they've made cartoony. They obviously thought it would be a really clever idea to turn an 18 rated film into toys aimed at kids who were sort of half that age, who should never have watched that film. So, it was that kind of one of those weird juxtapositions where they sort of said, okay, the grown-ups will want to buy this because it's Aliens, but we have to aim it at the kids. So you end up with this toy that is based on a very adult-themed film and is given a sort of cartoonish look that never actually existed in real life, because as far as I'm aware, there's never been an Aliens branded cartoon, for very obvious reasons, really, when you think about it. So that was kind of weird. But this is an exquisite mini. of the power loader, which is a key part of the second Aliens film, and it's the sort of thing. I think I've seen it in the shop before, but as I had sort of effectively free spendo when I was there, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna go for this. And interestingly, this is for ages 14 plus, so this would seemingly fall into the not a toy bracket. But I think Gareth said to me that this was designed with 3 3/4 inch figures in mind. So I'm guessing that the cage will open up, but the thing is, it's sealed, and I'm kind of not wanting to unseal it because it's just pretty as it is. I mean, one of the things that attracted me to this box was this artwork on the side of it, because when you look, there's actually a small hive's worth of aliens sort of all over the side of the box, and they didn't have to go that far, but I like that they did. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I don't think I've particularly seen examples of this again, and I'd be interested in people's comments on the NECA figures, because again, NECA isn't a road I've gone down, but I've seen them do Predator figures and stuff like that before, and I'm sort of thinking, yeah, that could be a way to do it. The only other piece of Aliens merchandise I currently have is an Eagle Moss figure from the Aliens vs Predator comic, ironically. I think is she called Ryuko? And she's a human who gets caught up in an Alien versus Predator conflict, but actually becomes a sort of a predator adoptee, if you like, as a result of the back of that, at least to some extent. But again, it's all down to the backstory. So didn't intend to get it. Fascinated by the company. I want to look at the company a bit more and see what else they've done, because that level of detailing, they've even got a sort of Colonial Marine stamp in the back there. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video. I can only just make it out. But it says United States Colonial Marine Corps just around the sort of the back of it. It's really hard to make it out. Don't know if you can see. You might be able to see it on a bigger screen. But there's definitely some stuff. It looks like it's actually stood on a stand as well. There's actually there's a corrugated sort of stand that the power loader stood on. So I'm sure it would display really, really well. So I might have to rethink my not unboxing it policy for this one, because I think that might actually display really, really nicely. Yeah, that's good. I'm seriously mulling that one over now. Okay, so that's that one. Apologies if the light is a bit weird. I'm holding my better light by hand because my little one's given out, but I wanted to do this now. So one of my main reasons for going was to catch up on my Captain Americas, but before I got those, this Transformers caught my eye, because this is the Transformers reboot that they're doing at the minute, and so I'm already massively behind on it effectively. But the cover does speak to me. I mean, that is my Optimus Prime. There's no two ways about it. Interestingly, he's got an Autobot image on both shoulders though. I thought you only had it on one, traditionally speaking. But anyway, so this is Image Comics #1, and apparently Gareth told me that this is probably sort of like the best-selling comic of last year. So in terms of collectible value, I'm guessing not great, because there's going to be thousands of them floating around. But I'm actually genuinely interested to have a read of it, just to see what the crack is with how they're approaching this, because as I understand it, they are being sort of deferential to the old school G1 continuity, but I imagine they're also going to put their spin on it for obvious reasons. So there's that, and I have, which Gareth told me to read as quickly as possible, and I haven't yet. Sorry, Gareth. My Captain Americas. So you have Captain America issue #1 there. And if you're wondering why I'm randomly picking these up, it will come as no shock to anyone who is vaguely familiar with the channel that I'm a bit of a Straczynski fan. And as you can see there, this is one of his Marvel comic runs. He's done Spider-Man and many others for Wonder Woman and stuff in the past as well. And arguably done so quite quietly if you're not sort of familiar with his work. But this is all sort of it's not even a character I would normally go out of my way to collect. But I know that this is going to be written in a style that I'm sort of familiar with and enjoy. So that's kind of why I've chosen to go with it. And if you know JMS's backstory, his personal backstory from his autobiography, he has a lot of World War II history in his family, and a lot of it is not positive. So I am intrigued to see what he's doing with this one, because I believe this does go back to a time before Captain America was frozen. So, this will be an interesting read. I've got half a dozen issues here. I think Gareth and I rather assumed that it was going to be quite a sort of limited... Oh, is that Doctor Strange? Hello, Doctor Strange. We thought it was going to be a relatively limited run. But as it turns out, it isn't. It seems to be carrying on going. So Gareth basically said to me, it's absolutely fine if I stop. But it's kind of, I'm just sort of going to carry on for the time being. I'm going to read these and I'll see what the crack is, basically. So that was it. It was a relatively limited pickup. It was more of a drop off than a pickup, really. So I will see you for another one in due course. Cheers for now.